Can I ask you something? What if your biggest obstacle isn't money? It isn't time. It isn't marketing. What if your biggest obstacle is simply the size of your vision? Today's guest came to spend a day with me here in Lubbock. She had a goal. It sounded reasonable. It sounded safe. It sounded achievable. She wanted to build a business doing about $1,500 a month or so by the end of the day. That goal had changed, not because we changed her strategy, but we literally changed what she believed was possible. Welcome back to the eForge podcast, where overwhelmed operators become empowered leaders and where we forge businesses, influence, and legacies that last. I'm your host, Cory Long. Today's episode is one I think every entrepreneur needs to hear because it's not about overnight success. It's about what happens when somebody starts believing they were created for more. My guest today is one of our eForge students. She's been in multiple of my programs. She won a competition and actually outsold other people, came to Lubbock, spent a day with me, her and her husband did. At the time, she was hoping to build a business that would bring in around $1,500 a month or so to help with the family, that kind of thing. And fast forward today, she's currently producing, especially with another client that she's closing over 5K a day, 5K a month, and she's working this part-time. She's raising family. She's doing social media for her church. She's taking care of 3 kiddos, one that's fairly new. And together, she and her husband are working toward the dream of one day getting him out on the water to where he can fish full-time professionally. Today, we're talking about mindset, dreaming bigger, stepping into uncomfortable rooms, building a business while raising a family, and why your future often changes the moment your thinking changes. Please welcome my friend and my guest today, Katie Hyden. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm beyond blessed to be here.
Well, this is fun because you guys just came to see me at the RV park the other day.
Yes.
Brought your little ones with you, which is the first time I got to meet them. And you guys like literally showed up in the middle of a rainstorm
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah.
had to
We
sit
just sat in the
outside in
car
the
for like
truck.
10
Yeah, sit in the truck, wait for the storm to pass before you could come into the RV. But like you guys are getting to see kind of the other side of the world in the sense of when we met, your goals were pretty low. You were like, hey, I just want to be able to help my family. You were doing photography and some of that stuff at that point, weren't you, at that point? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think at the point when I came to Lubbock, I was doing a little bit of photography. Actually, I think I had just started back doing social media at the church. I'd taken a break from pretty
Yeah.
much anything because I had just had my second baby.
Yeah.
February of 2023. And so I was just kind of navigating the whole stepping back into business, or I mean, I didn't have a business at that point, but stepping back into working, and trying to navigate how I could do that, but also be at home with the kids. That was something that was very important to me and my husband. And so we had tried and tried so many different things from home, and it just felt like nothing was really working. And I can actually kind of jump into the beginning of that story, and kind of tell a little bit about how I
Yeah.
met you.
Yeah.
And so I had my second baby. Well, first, let me say I am, work from home mom. I've got 3 kiddos. We have Sawyer James. I'm from the South. So people from the South have to call their kids by their first and middle name, especially when they're in trouble. So we've got Sawyer James. He is 5 years old. Then we
He's
have Hartley
funny.
Joe.
He's a lot of fun,
Oh,
man.
he's a mess. He is
Yeah.
absolutely a
And he's gonna be a good fisherman. He's gonna outfish
mess.
dad. You watch and see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then we've got Hartley Joe. She's our little firecracker. She is
Mm-hmm.
3.5. And we have our new addition, Huck Carter, and he's 10 weeks old. So my hands are full. My heart is full. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Beyond
Yeah.
blessed,
Yeah.
and it's crazy how something seems like it could be a hindrance in your life, like finding out we were pregnant with our third baby. That was just like, oh my gosh, business was rocking and rolling. And now we've had
Yeah.
this curveball thrown at us, and it's hard to kind of see God's plan in things. And sometimes we get in our own human mind and be like, oh, well, now this is a hindrance. The business was growing.
Yeah.
And then you realize that God uses everything
Everything.
for his purpose. And I could get into that in a minute, but Anyway, so 2023 had my second baby. I was actually working at my church at that time with my firstborn, and I was like, okay, I can't do this with two. There's no way, like, they're getting into everything. Like, we've got to figure something else out. And so I ended up taking a break from working, which was really scary to navigate at first because from the time we've been married, we've had
Yeah.
two incomes. And
Yeah.
so me staying home was definitely a leap of faith, but we knew it was something I needed to do at that time. And so she was a few months old, and I started doing research. I got on Indeed. Like, literally, that was like my social media, was scrolling Indeed, work from home jobs, finding anything and everything I can. I ended up finding a work from home marketing job. It
Mhm.
wasn't the same marketing I'm doing now, but it was tiny home marketing, which now I look back and see like that was the Lord's
Yeah.
hand giving me a little bit of experience. And so I jumped into that not knowing what I was doing at all. Ended up really loving it. And then I think I did that for like 9 months. It was commission based, so it wasn't like super reliable. And then something kind of happened, and me and my husband just were like, I don't think this is right for me anymore. So I ended up doing away with that. Um, and so I don't even know. I know for a fact that this was all the Lord because I have no idea how. So my husband's name is Cory, for those of you who
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cory, I might be talking about my
It can be
Cory.
confusing. Which
Yeah,
Corey are
it
we
can be
talking about?
confusing.
Yeah.
So my Cory ended up getting in your emailing system. I have no idea how.
We still haven't figured that out because he
We
and I have
haven't
talked
figured
about
that
that
out.
too. I have no idea.
I have no clue how. I literally think it was like the Lord just was like, okay,
Yeah.
here.
Dropped it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, because I needed it to be him in that season of life. And so he was like, hey, I've been getting these emails about like a job you can do at home. He kind of talked to, I think maybe the emails at that time had talked a little bit about your mission
Yeah.
with DSF. And he was like, it's made for people in ministry to be able to work like a few hours a day or whatever they want and like make income on the side, and they can do it all from home. I was like, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And so, but also I was still a little comprehensive because I had tried a few things that ended up being a scam
Yeah.
because, this day and age, everything is a scam. So I was like, okay, well, what's the next steps? And he was like, I think we have to get on a phone call with the sales guy. And I was like, ugh, okay, I do not like
I
phone
don't want
calls.
to do that.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
whatever. So ended up getting on a phone call with one of your sales guys, and it just everything about it felt right. He felt genuine, didn't feel salesy.
Good.
It wasn't like he was trying to sell us the course. It was just like if, and as a matter of fact, he said like, we don't want you if this isn't a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, a scammer wouldn't say that, you know?
Yeah. We
And so,
tried really hard not to like
yeah,
we would tell people not to buy. People that I
exactly.
know
That's what he
people
told
probably
us.
don't believe that, but we literally would tell people this is not a fit for you. Please don't buy this.
Exactly. Yeah, well, he was like, okay, well, I feel like this phone call has gone really well, but I'd like to have a Zoom call with y'all because we want to make sure you're a good fit
Yeah.
before you jump into it. That made me feel better because I was like, okay, well, they're not just going to let me jump into something if they don't see the potential in me.
Yeah.
Um, and so I really liked that. So we ended up setting up a Zoom call, went really well, and prayed about it and felt like, okay, this is what we need to do. And it was scary because, to jump into DSF was an investment.
Big
And
investment.
really an investment that we didn't have at that time because we were living off of one income,
Yeah.
two kids, but it was just something that we felt was right. And so we jumped in. I started doing it. I will be honest, the beginning of it, like
It's
most
rough.
things, I got really discouraged.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be able to jump in and just start excelling, and making all this money. Um, but it was a process. And so I would kind of go down in the dumps, be like, okay, I think we're gonna get our money back. And my husband Corey was like, no, like I have this feeling you need to keep going. Y'all, I would not be here if it wasn't for his
Yeah.
encouragement.
Yeah.
So we
He was
call it
looking for that boat. He was like,
yeah,
I need to buy
literally.
that
He's like,
boat.
you
Katie,
better
you
get
need
to
to get
work.
your junk together. That's right.
No, but he saw the potential, and he's my biggest encourager. So every time I'd be like, I think I'm gonna quit. It's too hard trying to do this with the kids and make phone calls and all that. And he's like, no, like you need to keep pressing in. You can
Yeah.
do this. And so I kept going. Um, I think I finally don't even really know what happened, but I finally got just like this little. So I joined it, and that was May of 2024. And I kind of just got like this spark of energy to, really push in and give him my all for like 1 month. I was just sick of hearing him be like, no, you need to do
Yeah,
this. So I was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
whatever, I'm just going to do it. Like it was almost like out of spot, I guess.
Ah,
Uh, it's like, I'm going to show you that I can
yeah, I'm
do this,
gonna show you. That's right.
So it was December and I really started, uh, pushing in, trying to make more connections, reach out to more people and to try to land some clients. But at this point, I didn't really feel like I was a business. I just kind of felt like I
Sure.
was just a little girl scrapping
Yeah.
for,
Freelancing,
yeah,
kind of
just trying
doing
to make
jobs here and there.
money. Didn't really, I mean, I had called myself Cat Core Consulting because it sounded more professional,
Sure.
when reaching out to people, but I didn't consider myself a business. And so that was December of 2024. And that is the month that y'all came out with the challenge.
Yep.
And I was like, I probably should do it, but like I didn't really think that it was that important at that point. And so my husband, of course, was like, you need to do
You
it.
need to do it.
To
Yep.
do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. The weeks would go by. You need to do it. I think the deadline was like December
It
31st.
was. Yep.
Y'all, I filmed the video on December 31st. I waited
With
till
your
the
kids in the
with
background.
my kids in the back. Yes,
Yeah.
I waited till the last day and he was like, you have to do this. And so the challenge was to make a video. And you would be judged off of, I can't even remember what the 5 things were. Y'all were going to
I
send it
don't.
up to random
Yeah.
judges. It's going to be judged by these
Yeah.
5 things or
Yeah.
whatever. I felt like my video was terrible because I put my phone up on a fence post and my kids are running around in a mud hole butt
In the
naked.
mud. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like I
remember.
had it on
Yeah.
blur so you couldn't see them, but it
Yeah.
was hectic. I would push pause, turn around and holler at them to be quiet.
Yeah.
Turn around and keep recording. But um anyway, so I recorded that video and sent it off, not thinking much about it, kind of just to like check off a box, like, okay, I did it. He can stop
Yeah.
telling me I
Tell
need to
tell my
make it.
hubby, you can quit
Yeah.
bugging me about it. It's done.
Like I
Yeah.
sent it in, okay?
Yeah.
So we ended up having some kind of, I think we were having a challenge or something. We got on a phone call,
Oh yeah.
whole coaching group, and it was January 15th, 2025. And you got to the point where you were announcing there's 5 winners. 4 were able to come for the training but had to pay their own way. And then the top winner got everything paid and got a whole extra day of personal business training. And so you announced it from the bottom up. And, I was excited for everybody that had won. And then finally you got to the last person, and I was like, what
It's
are the
not
chances?
me.
It's
Yeah.
not me. And then you said my name, and I think my jaw hit the floor, and I was
Yeah.
like, what in the world? And it was kind of at that point I was like, okay, Lord, I hear you. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I'm supposed to be doing. If you took that video and you think that, I needed to
Yeah.
be the one, that was all him because I did not give that video my all. And so I think we ended up scheduling it for February 12th through the 15th or something like that. And so we ended up flying out, coming and meeting you. And at this point, I didn't really know you. We
Yeah.
had a couple of Zoom
Zoom
calls,
calls.
not
Yeah.
even one-on-one. It was just like trainings that I just happened to be able to get on. And so I was thinking, okay, we're about to go meet this like really big businessman. He owns so many businesses and, he's going to be all fancy and professional. Like I was so nervous.
Fancy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fancy.
And we get
Boy,
there.
did your bubble get burst.
Oh my gosh. Burst in the best way, like in the absolute best way possible. Because when I met you, you were so down to earth. And I think like my perspective of owning a business, making a good income, was kind of clouded. Like I always thought in order to be good in ministry, you had to be dirt poor.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, I
you
grew
know,
up that way. I mean, that was kind of when I was doing ministry full time too.
Yeah, I was like, so the only people that are really doing what God has called them to do are going to be the ones that have absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Um, and that's so wrong
That is
because
so wrong.
God has to bless some people with resources to be
Yeah.
his hands and feet to bless others.
Yeah.
But that was my perspective. So going into it, I was just like, he's going to be this, big guy, big professional guy. And so when I met you, I was just kind of like, it changed my perspective. It shifted, the first time that we spoke. And then, so the first 2 meetings that we had were at the well, which
Yeah.
people watching this podcast may not know, but it wasn't at your house. Let's just say that.
No, no, it's
So
at
at
the
this point,
college ministry.
yeah, like
Like
I
it's
still
right
didn't
where we
really
do
know you.
work with all the college kids and
Yeah,
yeah.
so awesome. But you were just so down to earth, and that really touched me and changed my perspective. And then you asked us the question, kind of like you mentioned in the beginning. You were like, what's your goal? What's your annual income goal?"
Yeah.
I think I put 12,000.
Yeah, it wasn't much. I
It
couldn't remember.
wasn't
I was
much.
thinking it
I
was
did
like
not have a lot of
1,500 a month or something. It wasn't much.
No, I did not have a lot of confidence in myself at that point. I was like, if I could make this, I mean, at that point, I was like, that would change our family. That
Yeah.
would buy groceries, that would buy gas, whatever.
Yeah.
It'd make a difference. But it wasn't like this far off goal that I felt like I could achieve.
Yeah.
So we went on and, you showed us some things, talked about business, talked about mindset. And then it was the last day, and I got to actually come to your house. And so me and my husband, at this point, Cory, my husband, didn't come with me to any of the meetings. He wasn't feeling good from traveling. And so
He's too
he had
busy
stayed at the
watching
hotel.
fishing.
He was
That's
watching fishing. Yeah, he didn't feel
I
good.
don't feel good. I'm
Yeah,
watching fishing. Yeah.
right. So yeah, at this point, he hadn't come with me, but on the last day when it was just me, he came with me because I was like, I need your help to absorb all this information. My brain was hurting at that point.
Yeah, I
We
gave
had
you
talked
guys a
about
fire
so
hose.
much. So I was
Yeah.
like, I need you to come and like be my extra sponge to absorb the things that I don't absorb. And so we went into your office at your house. I can't remember at what point we met Michelle, but like,
Yeah. She came up and brought food and stuff, probably. I probably met her at the well, I'd bet.
well,
I don't
I
know.
might
Maybe
have.
not though.
I don't know if we did or not.
May
Maybe,
have been
but
at the house when y'all got
I
there
might
that
have
morning.
been
I
at
don't
the
know.
house. So anyway, just like meeting Michelle, we instantly felt like y'all's family.
Mm,
And
kind of
when
are.
we walked in your house, I was like, these people are normal.
Yeah.
Like, well, maybe not completely normal.
No, no, we're a
Like
little off. It's
there are
okay.
kind of normal.
Yeah.
I
Depends on
was
what
like,
normal is.
they're
Yeah.
family. Yeah, that's immediately what it felt like. And after we talked about business a little bit, I remember like my Cory came and sat on your couch and y'all talked about fishing. And I was talking to Michelle. Um, and then Lexa, she made me some rings. It was just
Oh
like
yeah.
immediately felt like we were part of y'all's family. And I was like, okay, if he can do this and build this business, still be the hands and feet of Jesus, and still be this down to earth, like it's possible.
Yeah.
It just kind of like changed my whole mindset, my whole perspective on everything. And so I went home with a fire lit in me that
Uh-huh.
I could do this. And this is what the Lord has called us to do in this season of our life. Um, and so you actually sent me home with some goals.
I
We wrote
did.
a
And some
number.
big ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
That probably
over
were a
tripled
little
that number.
intimidating.
It
Yeah.
was. It was. But you broke it down in such a way that made me think that it was possible.
Sure.
If you put like, hey, I want to make 150,000, right now I'm only making, 500 a month, but
Yeah.
that goal is possible. It didn't feel possible in that moment, but you broke it down in a way that made it seem like, oh, I can actually do that.
Yeah.
And so on the bottom tier of my goal sheet that you gave me, it was reach out to 5 people. And so I went home and I did my 5 outreaches every single day, which was so intimidating for
It
me because
is.
I cannot stand a cold call. In that point, I was like, okay, are the kids napping? Are they going to be quiet long enough? And then I'd spend like an hour just trying to talk myself into calling. It was so intimidating. But I ended up calling a business called JBH Maintenance, or I texted them first and I was like, hey, this is what I do. I feel like I could really help you improve your online, just all
Yeah,
the things.
yeah,
And this guy he's my really good friend now, so I can tell this story, but he actually
yeah.
was interested. And I was like, oh, my first one, I got all excited. And so he was like, yeah, let's schedule a call. So call me at this time. And I am nervous and I'm excited. My heart is pumping. I'm like, I'm about to close my first deal since the training and everything. And we are going to be on our way to this goal. So I answer the phone and he's like, hey, do you never want to cold call again? And I was like, honestly, please tell me, like,
Yeah. Give me the
whatever you got to
secret.
say, give me the secret. I never want to do this again. And he was like, well, come to this networking meeting with me. It's Tuesday at 10 a.m. And I was like, what the heck? I'd actually had a friend and a client previously tell me about this networking meeting, but at that point in my life, when he told me about it, I didn't feel like I was a real business. And so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's for me. Like, that sounds too intimidating.
Well, we
But
feel imposter syndrome. We feel
yeah,
like I don't fit. I'm not good enough. I'm not really the
exactly.
right. None of it's true. It's all made up. But yeah.
Exactly. So true. And so I felt like that was God's timing, that I had just left you, who shifted my mindset. And now I'm getting invited to this networking meeting where I have a chance to be a real
Yeah.
business, and I was like, okay, I was so nervous to go in because I have to tell them about myself. I have to stand up in this room full of people and explain who I am and what I do. And this guy's name was Justin Gray. He's actually still in the networking meeting with me, one of my good friends when I go. Um, I really thank him so much for inviting me because it has also changed my business drastically.
Yeah.
So I went the first meeting. This is how fast this all happened. I came to your house February 12th, went home. I went to that meeting March 4th.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
2 weeks. And I knew the first time I went to that meeting, I was like, this is where I need to be, and this is how I need to spend my time marketing myself, because at that point I needed to build relationships with local
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I-
And you live, just so people listen to this, like she lives in the middle of kind of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
she's not in a big metro area or any of that. She's in the middle of nowhere, far, 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 far East Texas.
Yeah. And I drive about 40 minutes to get to this meeting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm in the Beaumont area, and that's where the meeting is. So I go, and people are just so friendly, so interested in what I have to do. Um and they were like, if you want to ask for a referral, if nobody else, because nobody else in this room does what you do, if you want to ask for a referral, that's fine. So I stand up, I say, hey, I'm Katie Hyden with Cory Consulting, yada yada. And I actually asked for a specific person that very day that I
Mm,
had reached out to and had shown a little bit of interest in the days before. And somebody in that room knew that person.
nice.
Yeah. And before I left, he referred me to that person. So I was like, okay, this is where I need to be. So I ended up joining, and I still go every single Tuesday. It has, I don't even know the numbers. I need to sit down and look at the numbers at how
Yeah.
it has grown my business, like insane. But I've just made real connections with real
Yeah.
people. And so it's so much easier to close business that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
There's a warm market there.
yeah, so
Man.
I just feel like every step of the way has been the Lord's, and we still have big goals that we're reaching for. Um,
Well, it wasn't long. Y'all came, you had some big goals.
yeah,
You went back, you immediately started landing clients. Y'all bought a bass boat not long after that, which was a big, huge goal. That was one of the big
yeah,
ones because you wanted to get Cory out fishing more, give him the
mhm,
opportunity to start moving towards that.
yeah,
And then it wasn't long after that that you guys kind of started setting some of these additional goals. And then you've had times where life has gotten busy, kids, everything, and you kind of had to put everything on hold, keep your recurring income.
yeah,
But when you can have 3, 4, or 5 grand a month coming in recurring, whether you're full on at it every day or you're still, working the kids and the church
yeah,
and stuff for your family and stuff, that's a whole different ball game, man. That just
exactly.
changes everything.
It really
Uh,
does. Yeah, so I was really rocking and rolling in my business last summer. Um, and I guess it was last summer that I joined 2025, but after that, like everything just started really going well. I was really feeling confidence in my business, confidence in presenting myself. And then I found out I was pregnant.
yeah, I was about to say, yeah, and then little Huck. Yeah,
Yeah. So then, at that point, my humanness felt like this is such a hurdle
yeah,
because I was so sick. This was one of my hardest pregnancies. I could hardly function. And I was just like, Lord, like we were building the business and now it's going to be almost impossible to schedule meetings because I'm going to have a
yeah,
tiny baby.
yeah,
Just all the negative thoughts
yeah.
behind
All the
it. And
reasons you can't do it.
yeah, it's just my humanness of looking at that as not a blessing. And like now now where I am having this sweet baby, you realize like, good grief, that was one of the biggest blessings of my life. Not only getting a new child, but the way that it also changed my perspective on the business.
Yeah.
Before, I was trying so hard to land clients that I was underselling myself,
Yeah.
you know, and I wasn't closing them. And so finally, I feel like it was like the Lord saying, take a break. Because if I would have closed the clients that I had undersold myself for, I would be doing so much work and
Yeah. For
getting paid
nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
And now I'm to a point where I have so much peace. Like when I close clients, it's because the Lord is bringing them in
Yeah.
and I don't have to stress,
Well,
and if a door is closed, it's for a reason
yeah.
because He wants to open another door. I've had that happen so much.
Yeah, sometimes rejection is just God's redirection, and we
Exactly.
don't we don't look at it that way. But you were even talking about when you guys were here that you've taken Huck with you to appointments or whatever,
Yeah,
and they brought their kids. Like, it's
exactly.
like this. You're starting to learn that it doesn't have to be an either or; it can be an and. I can be a
Exactly.
great mama and a great wife and help with my church, and I can run a business and be a businesswoman that does all of the things. Because I know eventually y'all's goal is to get the income level at a point where you can travel and do the fishing and do the other things and be able to give your kiddos what they need and still take care of your family and all the goodness. Like it's,
Oh,
you and I, it's just to give you an idea of where you come from. Just think about this. You and I were just having a conversation right before we got on this podcast. You were saying that you want to come back because there's this big bass tournament that's happening not far from where we're at, actually. And you said something about I need this much, I need some money to do this so that we can go do this. And just think about the thought process of how things have shifted now because you were like, really, it's only one client.
mm-hmm.
Like that would not have been the conversation you and I had 2 years ago. Two
Yeah.
years ago, you would have gone, man, there's just no way. And I'd have to get all these little dinky clients and da 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 da. And it'd be so much work and I couldn't get the time off. And then I'd
Mhm.
have to juggle my kids. And like now it's just like, well, it's just really getting one more client. And you've
Yeah.
got a client right now. We were just talking about that you're prospecting that could be a 3 to 5K client that would easily almost double your business
Yeah.
overnight. The guy needs your help. We know he does. We know that he's going to need somebody to come in and do AI SEO and social
Yeah.
media and those kinds of things. So you literally are one or two clients away from you guys growing to the point where you could start seriously looking at, okay, where, I mean, if you really think about this, what, you're a year and a half maybe out from meeting at our house. Is that right? Does that sound right?
I think a little over two now.
So
Isn't it
you were over two? I can't even remember.
really? It goes by
So yeah.
fast.
So if it's, let's say it's over 2 years, you guys have gone from very little income to consistent recurring. You've been able to do the things that you need to do for your family. I know you guys are looking at buying another house before long. That's going to be
Yeah.
exciting, getting more
Oh,
room for all the kids and all the
exactly.
stuff. Y'all have been fishing more, traveling more. I know y'all were just on a vacation the other week. Life has changed pretty drastically, and the confidence level, your confidence as a businesswoman, all of that has shifted and changed. You can see it. And even when you guys were here, you could just see that y'all are comfortable in your own skin doing what you're doing now.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference, man. That's a huge shift. And it's giving you resources to be able to do ministry and other things in ways that you guys and
Yeah.
connections that you have and relationships you have that you just wouldn't have had otherwise. It's pretty cool to see. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool to see. I'm super proud of you. I've just watched you grow, which is really cool to me because you literally have gone from not really understanding what the possibilities were because you've got the gifts, you've got the ability to do all this. You really went from that to now understanding that look, we could do 15-20K a month or more. I could still be a mama, I could still be a wife, we could still do the traveling and still provide amazing value to our clients.
Yeah.
um and now with the way AI is shifting, I know your business, you guys, you've kind of shifted. You do a lot of social media kind of stuff a lot of times because that's kind of where you enjoy a lot of that. But the AI SEO and some of the things that we're doing now, that's even going to shift the business even more.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, which is going to give you even more possibilities, more potential, more opportunities down the road. And then when Cory gets big sponsorships for his fishing and
Yeah.
right, you never know what could happen even next month. Like it could shift that fast. And I think people don't realize, like you said, you went from I don't really want to do this to I shot a video the day it was due to coming to my house to getting clients the next month and then starting to build now what is a like we were just talking about, there's where else could you go work and make 60 plus thousand a year, um, part-time with your kids, getting to experience life,
Mm-hmm.
getting to help with your church and do all this stuff. And we know that that's just the beginning. Like this isn't a ceiling. This is like the floor now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas 2 years ago you would have gone, there's no way. Like
Yeah.
I can't do that. And I
Mm-hmm.
know y'all got other goals too. I know there was some things on that list. Y'all wanted to do a big Christmas trip and some other stuff. I don't know if those are still goals or not, but I'm remembering back like all the things that you guys told me. We want to do this for our family. We want to do this.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Where do you see, I know you've talked about kind of getting stuck in some of those things. And I think we've got a lot of probably listeners that would resonate with the fact that life gets in the way. A lot of times things that are huge blessings are seen as issues or negative or whatever. What do you feel like has carried you through to get you through the other side of that so that you continue to push through? Because we know it's the difference between somebody successful and not is just persistence and resilience. It's
Yeah.
not that like I'm not any smarter than in fact, most of the time I'm clueless about most of what I'm doing. Like because I'm just persistent. I'll just keep doing it. I'll keep till I figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
What's helped you push through all of that whenever things have gotten really, because Lexa was sick. She had some of the same issues you had when you through the pregnancy. Like that's rough.
Yeah. It's
Your brain
hard.
doesn't work.
Oh,
You don't
I was
feel
thinking
good.
about that on the way here. Just like even sitting down and staring at my computer felt
Yeah.
like the hardest task. I think something I pulled up a scripture earlier that I wish I really would have ingrained more at the beginning of the business is just trusting that everything that happens for a purpose.
Yeah.
Proverbs 16:9 says, "In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." And I think so many times we try so hard to force things to happen.
Yeah.
We try so hard in ourselves to force things to happen. Like I said, I was trying to, close clients and I was trying to do anything I could to open the door myself, like
Yeah.
putting my foot on the wall and jerking the door open, trying so hard, And finally, I learned that if I would just be patient and allow the Lord to close that door, because that's not what He has for me, He's going to open a door that has so much bigger blessing.
Yeah.
And so now I just have peace. And I know, like, if I don't close this client, it's
There'll
because
be
that
another
door
one.
needs to be closed because there's another
Yeah.
one.
There's
As a
another
matter
one.
of fact, like, I had one recently that I tried so hard. So, well, I say recently. This was actually probably before Huck. So it was last summer when I was hustling. I was trying so hard, offering discounts. And all those people just seemed to say no so
Yeah.
fast. And finally, when I came to a point of where, like, I'm not going to undersell myself, I'm going
Yeah.
to put it in the Lord's hands. I'm going to give them the quote that I need to give them and let it be. And people started saying yes.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
just like, I felt the Lord say, let me do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. It's not all
He's
on
like,
you.
I'm trying
It's not
so
all on
hard.
you.
Yeah, because ultimately, just let me bless you or let
Yeah.
me open the right doors. And so I think that's what got me through and what still gets me through. Some days I'm not going to lie, I still struggle to this day
Sure.
because I'm human. Sometimes I'm like, oh, being a mama is so hard and doing all of this and the business is just going to crumble and I'll get in my mind. And then I just have to say, stop. The
Yeah.
Lord has brought you this far. He
Yeah.
can continue to bring you where He wants you to be. Just um, seek first His kingdom. And that's what I try to do. And I tell Him all the time, like, Lord, whatever your purpose is for growing this business, let it happen and don't let me get in the way.
Yeah.
If you have completely different plans, when we finally get to the point of where we have enough income for Cory to stay home and help me with the business, if you have different plans than what's on our goal sheet, then like soften my heart now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Show me that direction.
yeah, show me that direction. That's what gets me through is I know that the Lord has a plan and purpose for our life, and I don't want to get in the way of that. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what, He's going to fulfill it, but don't let me make it harder on
Yeah, yeah,
myself.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
like let me be pliable in your hands. So I think that's what's really gotten me through. And I just hope to encourage other business owners that it's probably not going to look the way that you are envisioning it
Yeah,
in the future. And of course, I'm not saying don't do the work because he's not gonna
gotta
be able
do
to
the
use a
work.
lazy person. You've got to do the work, but don't try to force things because you may end up opening doors that don't need to be opened.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to still go till the soil. We still
Mm-hmm.
need to go work the soil. We still need to
Yeah.
plant the seed. We still need to water and fertilize. We still need to weed. We still need to
Yeah,
do all those things, but we're
exactly.
not going to be the one to bring the harvest. And
Yeah.
that's what's
You
kind
have
of
to reach your hand
crazy.
in the dirt and grow the plant yourself.
Yeah,
You
can't do it. No matter how hard you
know?
try, it ain't going to
No.
happen. No, no, not gonna. I think we talk about a lot how in this business, and you and I were just having this conversation a little bit ago about one client can change everything. And so today, tomorrow, this next week, you could literally land a client. Like I'm working a couple of clients right now that could be easily worth, I don't know, 6 figures a year or more to our company, not counting relationships. Like I had a call right before we got on this call. I had a call with somebody we're going to be collaborating with that one connection could bring multiple 6 figures into our business within months. Like it's got that potential. And I think what's cool is 2 years ago, Katie that was sitting in my house would have gone, no, that's not possible.
Yeah.
But I think the Katie sitting here today would go, yeah, I could do that. Like I don't even think it'd be a big deal to you. I think you'd be like, yeah, okay, let's go.
Yeah. Hmm.
Like let's do this thing. And so that's it's kind of neat. What do you see now, like moving forward? I know when you guys were down here the other day talking, there's some things that you guys want to move towards. I know Cory's got some goals of kind of time frames, that kind of thing. And I know
Hmm.
you guys aren't going to force anything. At the same time, I do know though that you're putting the work in. You're still doing the dailies and all the things. What is the kind of the goal now? What do you see for you guys in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, our biggest goal, and I know it's going to happen, it's just the Lord's timing, is for him to be able to go full time into helping me.
Yeah,
So we can spend more time as a family. And I think both of us fully agree. Most important thing is that we want to be able to have the resources to bless others or
yeah,
do, whatever God has called us to do. You wrote a
yeah,
book, Love is to Give,
yeah.
and that's really our biggest goal. It's just, yeah, we have all these fun plans too. Like
Sure,
he wants to be
sure.
able to fish and all that. But I think we're both to a point of where if that's not what God has for us, if simply the business is just for God's purpose to bless others,
Yeah.
then let it be.
What would
So,
you do? Just I know I'm putting you on the spot here. What would
okay.
you do if you actually let's say that you guys like because this could literally happen. We've had students like I had a student last month that he did 20K in brand new business last month. Not like he already has recurring. He already has a very nice income. He did an extra $20,000 last month.
Wow.
So let's say Katie and Cory had an extra 20K come in and you all of a sudden hit some really good accounts and things are moving and all that. What do you think right now are things that you guys would feel called to use those resources for, just out of curiosity? Because I know y'all are very heavily involved in your community,
Yeah.
family, church.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Like what do you feel like? Because I think sometimes we have this habit of putting our like there's all the you and I've had this conversation before about there's the lizard brain where we get into this we got to survive and it's fight flight
Yeah.
freeze and
Mhm.
we forget about dreaming over here and going, you know what, I can create the life, which is what you've done the last 2 years. You've created life and now you're seeing that the slimy business owner that's on all the movies or the I don't know whatever, that's not real. Like that's just something that Hollywood sold. And there
Yeah.
are some slimy ones out there, but there's a lot of really great Christian, loving, caring people that own businesses that are just blessing people
Hmm.
all around them that people they don't even know their names, man. They'll probably never know their names, right?
Hmm.
Um, what do you feel like right now? Like if you guys had an extra 20K laying around, What do you feel like you guys like would want to do with that? Just out of curiosity. Like I know that's a big ask.
Really
It's a
big
big
ask.
question.
I think something very specific that comes to my mind. If it just happened to happen like this week or something, my dad's actually going to Africa.
Oh,
You know,
seriously?
well, I guess that's like probably 2 weeks or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in Africa. We have some really good connections with some amazing pastors over there.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive trip. Um,
Yeah.
but our church finds it really necessary to go and lay our eyes on the work because we support them financially.
Yep.
And they're growing churches rapidly over there. We have one specific pastor that we are supporting, and he is I'm not sure if he's doing it or if he's just like the head pastor, but they're planting churches in different communities because unlike us, they don't have ways of travel.
Yeah.
Many of them travel miles on foot, and so there has to be more local churches in order for, the community to gather. And so dad's actually going over there, and it has been my dream to support his trip financially.
Nice. Yeah.
The
If you
whole
could just fund that trip
Yeah,
for him, that would be cool.
it would be cool.
That's
It
the
would be
kind of
cool.
stuff I think a lot of times we get so caught up in our, like you said earlier, like maybe it is the fishing, maybe it's not, maybe it's something, I don't know, whatever it looks like, right? Whatever
Yeah.
God calls you guys to. It's cool though when you have the resources to be able to go, let's just go do this. Like I remember getting a call from a friend of mine. They were talking about how they needed to build a couple of wells for some kiddos, like some villages that were for kids that were, well, and not even just kids. There were kids and adults that had issues, certain kinds of issues that had to do with could be anything from missing limbs to whatever. And these
Yeah.
people were shunned in their community. So they ended up in these certain villages, but they didn't have fresh water. And he was calling me and he was like, man, do you know anybody? And I was like, well, how much is it? Like, what kind of dollars we talking? And he gave me the dollars. And I said, well, if you just need two, let's just do it. He's like, seriously? I'm like, just do it. Just
hmm
tell me where to send the check and we'll just fund the thing. And those are not things that, like, I don't talk much about those things, but those are the things that are fun. Like when
Yeah.
you get that opportunity to be able to bless somebody and do something for somebody that way, it's
Yeah.
just really cool. And we see it, like you said earlier, all through scripture, we see that consistently, but we don't
Mm.
talk about it. What we talk about the other stuff, but we don't talk about the fact that Abraham was an entrepreneur, Paul was an entrepreneur, Peter
Yeah.
and these guys were entrepreneurs. They were fishermen, like they owned their own boat, they owned their own businesses. Peter
Yeah.
he apparently had a pretty decent living because the boats were still there 3 years later that were still supporting his family whenever he
That's so
came
good.
back, right?
I never thought of that.
Yeah, like it's crazy. He had a courtyard in his house. You didn't have
hmm
a courtyard in your house unless you had a little bit of money. And
Yeah.
so there's things like that. Paul, they talk about how he would support up to a dozen people that traveled with him all the time with his little tent making business. And we make it out to be this something that's not real.
hmm
But it was probably a super profitable business. We
Yeah.
just we kind of play it off as something small, but that's not necessarily the truth. And so man, I'm excited for you guys. Is there any final advice that you would give somebody that's like, and it doesn't have to be our kind of business, like any kind of business, if they're out there, maybe it's a mama like you that's sitting there going, man, I want to change my family's life, the legacy. I want to help my husband. I want to have stuff to be able to support my community church, my kiddos, do stuff for them maybe that I can't do right now. Any, any thoughts or final kind of
Ooh,
encouragement that you might have?
my biggest advice to anybody starting any business, whether you're a mama or not, is to surround yourself with people who strengthen your mindset. That was one of the biggest things with joining the networking meeting I'm in was
Yeah.
not even for the referrals that I received, but I was around other people who had great mindsets about
Yeah.
business. Um, and there's a requirement in this networking meeting that I go to that you have to meet with one person, at least one member a week, and
Yeah.
sit down and have a conversation. And I can tell you that I've left some of those meetings so on fire and
Yeah.
encouraged because so many of those people started from the bottom and went to the top. So surround yourself with people who are successful and have great mindsets. Um, because there's so many times that I feel like I want to give up, and then I'll get
Yeah.
on a Zoom call with you, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, what was I thinking? I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Like literally,
Wow.
And I have to do that sometimes. I have to
Yeah.
surround myself with people who can encourage me and be like, "Hey, I've been where you've been.
Yeah.
Um, I know it's hard in the trenches, or it's hard in the beginning, but look where I am now, and you can be here too." So surround yourself with people. It's discipleship, just in a
Yeah.
different way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I think with entrepreneurship, a lot of times we're on islands. We get isolated. We don't a lot of times we don't have a lot of other entrepreneurial friends, especially not at like church or something like that. We don't have
Yeah.
those places that we can go and pull from. So I think
Mhm.
community, I think that's a great piece of advice. I know you want to continue to grow your business. So I know one of the things that Katie's extremely good at is video and that kind of stuff. She's extremely good at that. She's learning AI SEO, and I know you do a bunch of other things for all kinds of small businesses.
Mhm.
If somebody's listening today, and especially if they're in that area of Beaumont or any of that East Texas area, I know you would love to talk and chat with them. How can they find you, run you down, learn about your business, who you are? Where
Yeah.
did they go?
So you can check out my website. It's catcoreconsulting.com. And catcore is Katcor. It's the first three letters of my name, first three letters of my husband's name. Kind of stole
Okay.
that from Y Rock because I was like, he
Yeah.
did something cool with his name. What can I do with my name?
Yeah. 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 And
So
what you know
yeah,
what's funny is when you explain stuff like that, people actually remember it. Like they
yeah,
remember what,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so my husband's name is Cory. My name is Katie with a K. So first three letters of my name, first three letters of his name, dot. Well, my email is catcore.consulting@gmail.com. Website is just catcoreconsulting.com. So
Sweet.
that's
And
how
I
you
know
can.
you're all over socials, so make sure and follow her. She puts her kiddos up there and
Oh,
they do
yeah.
some crazy, especially a little boy. He does some crazy fun
Oh,
stuff
he's
and it's a lot
awesome.
of fun to watch. I know
Yeah.
you haven't been doing your little episodes with him lately because you guys have been slammed,
We've
but
been so busy.
the
We
little
need,
episodes were hilarious when he
yeah.
would come out and do his little stories and different things. That was
Oh my God.
funny. It was really
I know.
good.
I needed to start. So those were kind of scripted, and he got to a point where he was like, "Mom, I'm done with that. Like, I don't want to do it anymore." But he's just so funny already. I
He is
needed to start
hilarious.
videoing his everyday life. He
Yeah.
was on the phone with my mother-in-law yesterday, and I hadn't even heard this story. Happened during vacation, and he was, Mimi, we were on the boat, and I said, "Dad, can we move to another spot?" And right about that time, I felt thump thump, and then I went, "Wah." I just died laughing. I was like, why do I never have my phone out for these moments? Because he's just so
I
funny with
love
it.
it.
He's
I love
wild.
it. He's a lot of fun, man. You are gonna have your hands full for
Oh my God.
years to
Yes.
come. And
I
poor
know
little
it.
Huck, man, he's gonna yeah. As the little guy, he's
Yeah.
gonna get all of the attention from older brother and older sister. It's gonna be interesting.
So
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Well, thank you for joining today. I think one of the biggest lessons that we got from today's conversation is that the right room can change your whole future. Not because somebody hands you success, but because they help you to see the possibilities that you couldn't see alone. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that what you've heard just wasn't another success story because this wasn't about making more money. This was about expanding belief. It's about realizing that your current goals may simply reflect your current thinking. One of the things I've learned over the years is this, and sometimes the greatest gift somebody can give you isn't advice, it's actually belief. Belief that you're capable of more, belief that your dream is too small, belief that your next season is bigger than your current circumstances. That's why I believe so deeply in getting in rooms where people think differently, because environments shape expectations and expectations shape outcomes. If today's episode challenged you to dream bigger, take more action, or stop putting limits on what God might be able to do through your business or through your life, I'd encourage you to do three things. Subscribe to the show with whichever platform you're listening to. Leave a review or a comment, drop a comment, and ask Katie questions, ask us questions. If there's anything that resonated with you, drop it in the comments. Share this episode with somebody that you're maybe who's ready to stop settling for what's comfortable and start building towards what's possible. Guys, until next Thursday, keep forging forward, stay aligned with your calling, build with clarity, confidence, and conviction, because this is the forge where leaders are made and legacies are built.